We welcome today a very important person, Santhe Loizos. Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yes.
OCMC Projects and Grants Manager. Santhe has been with OCMC for just about a year now and has some exciting things to discuss with us when it comes to grant funding from around the world. She is also a veteran of IOCC and Focus North America, so she has a broad view of Orthodoxy and what it has to offer. Santhe, welcome to the program. Most people associate OCMC with missionaries that it sends around the world. Can you tell us the role of grants within the organization?
So thank you, first of all, for having me. Yes, it may surprise people to learn that since the very beginning, OCMC has been giving grants to church partners to help meet the spiritual, physical, and material needs that they encounter. So just as we support the church with human resources, so to speak, in the form of missionaries, we believe that grants is vital to supporting the capacity of the church and helping increase its impact. OCMC has three goals, and those are to bring people to Christ, establish the church, and share Christ's love. And through our grant making, we can help local churches further accomplish those three things. We're very blessed in that even though the grant program has been around for many years, it's really grown considerably in the last few years due to the generosity of our donors. So we are now at a point where we can give away about $1 million a year to church partners. So it's an exciting time.
It is. So these are, let's make it clear, OCMC here is not requesting grants. What you're doing is accepting grant proposals, and then you give the money to the local people, right?
Exactly. These are requests that come from hierarchs that we then respond to.
So let's look at some of the priorities in grant making for OCMC. Can you make some or give some examples of things that you are supporting?
Definitely. We have three clear priorities. And those, as I mentioned, are priorities of bringing people to Christ, establishing the church, and sharing Christ's love. Our grant-making priorities tie directly to those. Our grant-making priorities are evangelism, theological education, and financial capacity building. And I can explain each of those a little bit and give some examples.
Okay.
So in the area of evangelism, we are particularly focused on bringing the gospel to people who have not before heard it. So one current example is that we were having conversations with the bishop of northern Uganda, who expressed to us that there was a region in northeast Uganda called the Karamoja region that's very remote, a very sort of overlooked part of the country. And the Karamoja people, by and large, have never heard about Jesus Christ. And he wanted to begin efforts to bring the gospel message to them. So we recently gave him a grant that enabled him and 5 of his clergy to travel to Karamoja and begin meeting with people in villages. And what's especially neat in this case is that he was met by a priest from northern Kenya with the blessing of his bishop, because that priest speaks the same language as the Karamoja.
Okay.
So that priest crossed into Uganda and met the bishop and his clergy, and together they traveled around. So that's one example of an evangelism project. We've also done evangelism efforts in northern Kenya, and we're hoping to do more. So anytime a hierarch approaches us and has an idea for how to reach a group of people that have not yet heard the gospel, we're very enthusiastic about that. So that's an example of evangelism. In the category of theological education, those are initiatives that are training and preparing future clergy and lay leaders. Some current examples, I'm sure you know, Father Chris, that we've been supporting the construction of a seminary and training center in Guatemala over the last few years. And we're very excited that that is just about coming to completion. So that is the first seminary in Guatemala. Not only will it train clergy there, but it's already being used to train catechists. We're providing monthly support to the seminary in Nairobi, which is really crucial because that's the only Orthodox seminary, not only in Kenya, but in the region. So those are some examples of current theological education initiatives.
Okay.
And then lastly, in financial capacity building, it's very important to us that we help build the capacity of the church to carry out projects by itself one day. Right now, we're investing in places that don't have the infrastructure to carry out these projects on their own. But we want to make investments that will help lay the foundation for them to provide for themselves. So to that end, we are looking at and funding projects that will create a source of revenue for the church. For example, in Western Kenya, in the Kisumu Diocese, we have a project where we're funding a beekeeping initiative. The bishop there approached us wanting to start a beekeeping initiative with the idea to sell honey as a source of revenue. And we're also exploring other ideas in East Africa that would help the church create residential and commercial properties that would have ongoing sources of revenue to help meet their needs. So those are some examples. We also do philanthropic projects, wells and scholarships and support to schools and things like that, but that's a much smaller proportion of the things we support.
Well, it's clearly you've got your work cut out for you. I have one more question for you, a quick answer. I understand OCMC is in the midst of a review process for more than 80 grant requests that have come in from all over the world. How will you take those requests and come out with something in the next coming months?
Yes, well, we have a committee in the office, 5 staff who have reviewed them all. We discuss every one of them. We evaluated against those priorities that I just talked to you about. Also, we look, is this sustainable? Is this something that if we invest in, we'll be able to continue without us? Is it going to have a large impact? Once we evaluate all of those questions, we select the ones that are most aligned, and then we'll work with those hierarchs to get the additional information we need to then award those grants. So we're really excited. It's the largest group of proposals that we've received to date, and we're really excited about what's coming down the line.
Well, Santhe, we wish you the very best. Santhe Loizos, OCMC Projects and Grants Manager. Can you remind us of the OCMC website so people can go there and learn more?
Yes, it is www.ocmc.org.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.